The cold steel of the handcuffs bit into my wrists one last time as the bailiff yanked me toward the van, my lawyer's screams echoing down the marble hallway like a bad dream I couldn't wake from. "This is bullshit, Charlotte. They're burying you alive." But I knew better. It wasn't just the non-compete clause that had dragged me here. It was the knife in my back from the one person I'd trusted most. And then, as the van door slammed shut, a single gunshot cracked the air, shattering the window beside my head. Blood, mine, sprayed across the seat in a warm, sticky arc, and the world faded to black with Derek's face flashing in my mind, his smile twisting into that final betrayal. I gasped awake, choking on the sterile scent of hospital sheets that weren't there. My eyes flew open to the familiar hum of my old alarm clock, the one with the cracked screen I'd meant to replace for years. Sunlight slanted through the blinds of my cramped Brooklyn apartment, hitting the stack of unpaid bills on the nightstand like a spotlight on my failures. My hands, free, unscarred, clutched the faded quilt my grandma had sewn before she passed. This wasn't the afterworld. This was 3 years ago. Yesterday, to be precise. The day before the pitch meeting that would unravel everything. Heart pounding like a jackhammer, I bolted upright, my reflection staring back from the mirror across the room. 28-year-old me, wide-eyed and unbroken, with the same messy auburn ponytail and freckles dusting my nose. No trial scars, no prison ink. I'd been shot dead on the way to my appeal hearing, framed for corporate espionage after Derek, my fiancé and co-founder of our startup, sold me out to the bigwigs at Apex Tech. The non-compete he'd slipped into our partnership agreement? It was his golden ticket to steal everything I'd built. Our AI software for small businesses, the late nights coding in that dingy garage, the dreams we'd whispered over cheap takeout. And now, somehow, God or the universe or sheer dumb luck had hit rewind. I was back, and this time, I wouldn't bleed for his ambition. I stumbled to the bathroom, splashing water on my face, the cool droplets mixing with hot tears I hadn't let fall since the verdict. "You're alive, Charlotte Hayes," I whispered to the girl in the mirror, her green eyes hardening like jade under pressure. "And you're gonna make them pay." But revenge wasn't a straight shot in this game. Apex wasn't just a company. It was a machine, greased with Silicon Valley cash and DC lobbyists, devouring dreamers like me. Derek had played me from the start, whispering sweet nothings while he funneled our code to their servers. The secret he'd buried? Our prototype wasn't just innovative. It was revolutionary, a glitch-free AI that could predict market crashes before Wall Street blinked. I'd coded the core algorithm during a feverish all-nighter after my mom's funeral, pouring grief into lines of code that could upend the financial world. He knew it, coveted it, and when the offers rolled in, he chose them over us. By noon, I was dressed in my power armor, a crisp white blouse, black slacks that hugged my runner's legs, and heels that clicked like warning shots on the subway platform. The pitch meeting loomed at 2 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan, Apex's glass tower piercing the sky like a middle finger to underdogs. In my old life, I'd walked in glowing, arm in arm with Derek, our slides polished to a sheen. He'd charmed the room, his Ivy League polish sealing the deal while I demoed the tech. But that night, over champagne, he'd confessed, off the record, he said, that the non-compete meant I was locked out if things soured. "Just protecting the baby," he'd joked, kissing my temple. Lies. All of it. The agreement was a Trojan horse, loaded with clauses that branded me a traitor if I ever coded for a competitor. Which, post-betrayal, I did. Desperately. Now, as the elevator dinged open on the 47th floor, I smoothed my hair and stepped into the lion's den alone. No Derek trailing behind with his boyish grin. The receptionist, a Botoxed blonde named Kendra, arched a perfectly sculpted brow. "Miss Hayes? You're early. And solo. Derek's tied up?" I lied smoothly, flashing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Family emergency. But I've got this." She buzzed me through, and there they were, the Apex execs, perched around a conference table like vultures in tailored suits. At the head sat Victoria Langford, the queen bee, 50s, silver-streaked bob, eyes like chips of ice. She'd crushed startups for breakfast, her non-competes legendary for turning founders into ghosts. Flanking her, Marcus Hale, the shark lawyer with a Harvard drawl, and Elena Vasquez, the tech whisperer who'd evaluate our pitch. "Ladies and gentlemen," I started, plugging in my laptop with steady hands. Hayes Innovations isn't just another app. It's the future of accessible AI for the little guy. The mom-and-pop shops crushed by big data. The screen lit up with our demo, the algorithm humming to life, predicting a mock stock dip with eerie accuracy. Gasps rippled through the room. Victoria leaned forward, her manicured nails tapping the glass table. Impressive, Charlotte. But where's your partner? We were expecting the full team. I met her gaze, channeling the fury I'd bottled for 3 years. Change of plans. Derek and I parted ways creatively, but the text speaks for itself. Murmurs. Elena's eyes narrowed, scanning the code on her tablet. Marcus smirked, already smelling blood. This was the controversial pivot. In my first life, I'd begged Derek to come clean about our split. He refused, gaslighting me into silence. Now I'd weaponize it. Let them think we were fractured from the jump. Make the non-compete irrelevant before it could bite. As the demo wrapped, Victoria steepled her fingers. Bold move, going solo. We like grit, but partnerships are key here at Apex. Sign with us, and we'll make you rich. Refuse. She trailed off, her smile a velvet threat. The offer sheet slid across the table, 50 million buyout, with strings. Non-compete for life. Non-solicit on every contact I'd ever made. My old self would have signed, starry-eyed. This Charlotte? I pushed it back. Generous. But I need revisions. No eternal gag on my code. And equity, not just cash. The room froze. Marcus chuckled, low and oily. Feisty. But non-competes are standard, darling. Protects our investment. Darling. The word slithered like the first lie Derek ever told. I leaned in, voice steel. Standard for slaves? Maybe. I'm offering a partnership, not a lobotomy. Victoria's lips thinned. We'll review. But tread carefully, Ms. Hayes. This town eats solos for lunch. I left with my head high, pulse thundering. Step 1. Plant the seed of doubt. Derek would slither in tomorrow, all charm and spin, trying to salvage his side deal. But I'd already emailed copies of our original agreement, sans his forged addendums, to a contact at the FTC. Anonymous tip. Apex's history of predatory clauses. Let the feds nibble. Back in Brooklyn, I poured a glass of cheap Merlot and paced my living room, the city lights twinkling like distant stars mocking my isolation. My phone buzzed. Derek. Babe? Where were you? Pitch got weird without me. I stared at the screen, while rising. In my deathbed haze, I'd seen the texts he'd sent Victoria. She's out. Code's mine. The betrayal burned deeper than the bullet. We'd met at NYU, him the trust fund poli-sci major, me the comp-sci grind from Ohio trailer parks. He saw my fire, fanned it, then doused it for his climb. Our secret? That algorithm wasn't just code. It hid a glitch I'd buried, one that could expose Apex's insider trading if it ever leaked. I'd coded it innocently, pulling from public data, but Derek twisted it into stolen IP during the trial. I typed back. We need to talk. Coffee tomorrow. His reply, heart emojis, oblivious. Good. Let him come crawling. Night fell heavy, dreams fracturing between past and present. The courtroom gavel, the van's screech, Victoria's triumphant smirk as she testified against me. I woke sweating, dawn creeping in. Day 2. Time to tighten the noose. The coffee shop on Bleecker Street buzzed with hipsters and their oat lattes, a far cry from the boardrooms I'd conquer or die trying again. Derek slid into the booth, all golden boy hair and designer flannel, flashing that dimpled grin. Charlie, God, I missed you last night. Traffic was a nightmare. Lies, always lies. I sipped my black coffee, black as my resolve. Cut the crap, Derek. I know about the back channel to Apex. His face paled, just a flicker, then the recovery, wide eyes, hand on mine. What? Babe, that's crazy. We're a team, remember? I pulled away, sliding a printout across the table, the email chain I'd hacked from his cloud in my first life, timestamps damning. His eyes widened for Real. How? Doesn't matter. You forged the non-compete. Slipped it in after I signed the initial draft. Thought I wouldn't notice till it was too late. He stammered, charm cracking. It was for us. Protection. Apex is circling. They're circling you. I snapped, voice low to avoid the barista's ears. You sold me out for a seat at their table. But here's the deal. Walk away clean, or I go public. Every blog, every subreddit. Tech betrayal goes viral. Controversy brewed in his silence. The decision to expose him now, pre-pitch, risked tanking our startup entirely. But mercy? That died with me. He leaned back, calculating. You're bluffing. Without me, you're nothing. Wrong. I was everything. Try me. We stared, the air thick as fog off the Hudson. Finally, he nodded, defeated. Fine. We dissolve. But the code, it's half mine. Half. I laughed, bitter. You contributed memes and moral support. It's mine. He signed the quick release I'd printed, hands shaking. Step 2. Neuter the snake. By afternoon, I was back at Apex, solo pitch redux. Victoria's office this time, panoramic views of the Empire State mocking my smallness. Mr. Ellis is out, I announced, handing over the dissolution papers. Hayes Innovations is mine, and I'm ready to talk terms, without the chains. She arched a brow, impressed despite herself. Ruthless. I like it. But non-competes aren't negotiable. Oh, they were. My anonymous FTC tip had hit paydirt. Whispers of an investigation already buzzed in tech forums. I bluffed. Funny, my sources say otherwise. DOJ's sniffing around your standard practices. Her eyes flashed, first crack in the ice. We haggled for hours, the sun dipping low. I conceded points, a shorter non-solicit, milestone bonuses. But the core? I held firm. As I left with a tentative handshake, Marcus cornered me in the hall. Play with fire, you'll burn, Hayes. Threat veiled as advice. I smiled. I've already been ashes. Your move. Weeks blurred into a frenzy of boardroom battles and late-night strategy sessions, my apartment transforming into a war room littered with legal pads and cold pizza boxes. Apex circled like a shark scenting chum, their offers sweetening while the pressure mounted. Victoria's emails dripped honeyed urgency. Time-sensitive, Charlotte. The market waits for no one. But I smelled the trap. The non-compete loomed larger, now laced with threats of lawsuits if I shopped the tech elsewhere. In my old timeline, I'd caved, signing away my soul for a payout that vanished in legal fees when Derek flipped the script. This time, I built walls. NDAs with indie investors, a shadow team of coders from hacker meetups in Queens. Gritty, underpaid, but loyal, no ivy polish, just raw talent. The betrayal's rot spread deeper than I'd imagined. Digging through old emails one sleepless night, I uncovered the buried secret. Derek hadn't acted alone. Victoria had groomed him months before the pitch, wining and dining at exclusive clubs in the meatpacking district. Mentorship, he called it in his confessions during the trial. Seduction, more like power plays wrapped in flirtation. And the crime I'd shouldered? Not just IP theft. Our AI had accidentally flagged Apex's off-books trades during a beta test. Insider deals that could have tanked their stock if exposed. Derek buried the log, framed me as the leaker when regulators knocked. I'd taken the fall, labeled a whistleblower gone rogue, my life imploding under smears and subpoenas. Rage fueled me, but so did fear. One wrong move, and history repeated. I needed allies, controversial ones. Enter Jax Rivera, a disgraced journalist from The Intercept, drummed out for ethical lapses after exposing big pharma kickbacks. We met in a dive bar off Houston Street, neon flickering over our whiskeys. Non-competes are the new indentured servitude, he growled, his tattooed knuckles rapping the glass. Apex has a graveyard of NDAs. I can dig, but it'll cost you. Exclusivity on the story if it blows. Deal, I said, clinking glasses. Risky. Jax was radioactive, his bylines toxic in polite circles. But his fire matched mine. He dove in, unearthing dirt. Apex's lobbyist ties to a senator who'd gutted antitrust laws, non-competes enforced via blacklisting apps that tracked ex-employees' job hunts. My story could ignite a firestorm, but at what price? Controversy swirled in my gut, exposed now, and Apex crushed me pre-deal. Wait, and risk another bullet. Meanwhile, Derek slunk in the shadows, his texts turning venomous. You're ruining us, Charlie. Come back, or I'll tell them everything. Everything. The glitch. He knew it could unravel Apex if paired with the right data pull. I blocked him, but paranoia gnawed. Was he the shadow in the back of my mind? Or had Victoria already dispatched her hounds? The climax brewed at TechCrunch Disrupt, the annual circus in San Francisco where startups bled for attention. I'd scored a demo slot, a high-wire act under halogens and VC gazes. Flying cross-country on Southwest. Coach. Always coach. I rehearsed in my window seat, the Golden Gate mocking my vertigo. Landing in fog-shrouded SFO, I checked into a hostel in the Mission, bunking with backpackers to save cash. No frills for this Phoenix. The conference hall thrummed with energy. Keynotes on blockchain utopias, booths hawking VR dreams. My slot was prime time, for PM on the main stage. As I warmed up backstage, nerves jangling, a stagehand handed me a note. "Watch your back. A friend." And signed, but the handwriting matched Kendra's from Apex. Heart slamming, I scanned the crowd. Suits everywhere, but one face stood out. Marcus Hale, lurking in the wings, his smirk a promise of sabotage. "Ladies, gentlemen, innovators," I began, voice steady over the mic, the AI demo projecting on screens the size of billboards. "Imagine democratizing data. No more gatekeepers. No more crushed dreams." The algorithm word, simulating a real-time market forecast, the crowd leaning in. Then, glitch, the screen flickered, pulling not mock data, but live feeds, flashing Apex's buried trades, red flags waving like indictments. Gasps rippled. My blood iced. Sabotage. Derek? Marcus? I ad-libbed, heart in throat. This isn't planned, it's proof. Big tech's hiding in plain sight. Chaos erupted. Phones out, tweets flying. Victoria stormed the stage mid-demo, her face thunder. "Turn it off. This is slander." Security swarmed, but the damage bloomed viral. Apex Exposed trended by Encore. Backstage melee. Marcus cornered me, breath hot. "You little bitch." That was our code. No, mine twisted. I shoved past, Jax materializing with his recorder. Got it all. Front page. But as cops arrived, called by Apex, no doubt, cuffs loomed again. History's echo. I bolted for the exit, weaving through the throng, fog swallowing me on Market Street. Uber to the airport, red-eye home. In the terminal, buzzed on adrenaline, I called my shadow coder, Mia, a trans kid from Flatbush with genius-level Python. "Lock it down. Full audit." Her voice cracked with worry. "Charlie, they're coming. Feds are worse." She was right. By dawn over the Rockies, my phone exploded. Warrants incoming. Apex suing for defamation. Derek's voicemail. "Told you. It's over." But was it? The glitch exposure had cracked their facade. DOJ tweets hinted at probes. My controversial call. Leak the full code to open source it. Damn the non-compete. Free the tech, free myself. But it'd brand me a pirate, unemployable forever. Touching down in JFK, rain lashed the tarmac like accusations. I hailed a cab to my lawyer's office in Midtown. A bulldog named Rita who'd fought my corner in the first life before Derek bought her off. Non-compete's ironclad. She warned over stale donuts, her Brooklyn accent thick. But if we prove forgery, I slid over the originals. Her eyes lit. Holy shit. We countersue. Breach of good faith. The countersuit filed by noon, naming Derek, Victoria, Marcus. Press release to Jax. From victim to victor. Controversy peaked. Feminist icons hailed me as a whistleblower. Tech bros decried me as a chaos agent. Protests brewed outside Apex's tower. Break the chain chants echoing my pain. But retaliation struck swift. That night, as I deadbolt my door, a brick shattered the window, glass raining like tears. Note attached, back off or join your mom. Mom. The drunk driver who'd killed her 5 years back, hit and run, unsolved. Coincidence? Or Apex's reach, burying secrets with muscle? Sleep evaded, shadows lengthening. I barricaded with a kitchen chair, pistol from my nightstand. Ohio roots die hard. Dawn brought Rita, safe house. Now, reluctant, I packed a go bag, fleeing to a Jersey motel under assumed name. There, plotting, the revenge arc crested. Infiltrate Apex's gala, the black tie bash where deals died in whispers. Crash it, confront Victoria, force her hand. Prep was gritty. Thrift store gown, wig from a Canal Street stall. Jax fed intel, blueprints of the venue, guest list heavy with Pauls. Mia hacked their stream, ready to beam the glitch live if needed. The decision gnawed. Go nuclear, risk arrest, or fold. Betrayal scar screamed forward. Gala night, Lincoln Center glittering like fool's gold. I slipped in via service entrance, heels silent on marble. Champagne flutes clinked, laughter hollow. Spotting Victoria in emerald silk, Derek at her elbow. Intimate, his hand low on her back, nausea hit. They ascended the dais for a toast, her voice amplified. To innovation without limits. My cue. Heart hammering, I wove forward, Jax's bug in my clutch recording. Victoria. I called, voice cutting crystal. Heads turned. Your limits are lies. Non-competes? Chains. Murmurs swelled. She paled, Derek gaping. Security. But too late. Mia triggered the feed, projectors hijacked, glitch data blooming for all. Pandemonium. Flashes popping, shouts rising. Marcus lunged, but I dodged, ripping off the wig for drama. Charlotte Hayes. The betrayed. Jax yelled from the crowd, live streaming. Victoria's facade crumbled, screeching, get her out. Cuffs again? No, this time, allies surged, indie devs, chanting my name. I backed toward the exit, pulse roaring, the twist uncoiling in my chest. Not just exposure, proof. In the chaos, I palmed her phone from the table, thumbprint bypassed by Mia's hack. Text to Derek. Finish her like the last loose end. Last. Mom's crash. Wired breaks. The secret unearthed. Apex didn't just steal code, they silenced threats. My mom's accident, after she consulted on ethics for their early AI? Revenge tasted like ash and victory. But as sirens wailed, I vanished into the night, cab racing to Rita's. The war wasn't over, just beginning. Hiding out in Rita's Jersey brownstone felt like trading one cage for another. The Hudson's murky flow a constant reminder of depths I couldn't plumb alone. Days bled into strategy huddles over burner phones and encrypted drives, the world outside fracturing along my fault lines. Media frenzy painted me as either Joan of Arc or Typhoid Mary. CNN debates raged on non-competes as modern slavery, while Fox called me a disgruntled ex, torching bridges. Apex lawyered up, their PR spin a whirlwind. Baseless accusations from an unstable founder. Unstable. The word stung, echoing psych evals from my trial. Derek's whispers to shrinks painting me paranoid. But paranoia had teeth now. That brick through my window? Forensics from a favor-calling ex-cop buddy traced it to a fixer with mob ties. Low level, but Apex's payroll smelled like bleach. And Mom's crash? Rita pulled strings at the DMV. The report, dusty and redacted, hinted at tampered logs. Coincidence, she snorted, chain-smoking camels. In this town? Nah. Your ma poked the bear on data privacy. They rolled her for it. The secret clawed free, Victoria's first scalp, a decade back, when Apex was just a scrappy fintech pup. Mom, fresh from a whistleblower gig, had flagged their algo for bias, predatory loans targeting minorities. Accident followed. I'd coded our AI in her memory, unwittingly resurrecting the ghost. Guilt gnawed, but so did clarity. This wasn't just revenge, it was reckoning. My controversial pivot, go public with Mom's files, linked the dots to Apex's empire of silence. But exposure meant dragging her grave into the spotlight. Tabloids feasting on tragedy, skeptics crying conspiracy. Jax urged yes. Truth's the ultimate hack. Mia, voice soft over video. For her, Charlie. And us. I nodded, tears hot. Decision made. The press conference was Rita's brainstorm. A rented hall in Newark, neutral ground, streamed live to dodge Manhattan's claws. I stood at the podium in jeans and a blazer. Real talk, no gala glam. Flanked by Jax and a parade of ex-Apexers. Ghosts with grudges. Cameras flashed like lightning as I gripped the mic. 3 years ago, I died for a lie. Shot down, framed by the very dream I built. Gasps. I laid it bare. The non-compete forgery, the glitch that exposed crimes, the bullet meant to bury me. Then, the bomb. Mom's files projected, coroner's anomalies circled in red. Apex doesn't just compete, they eliminate. The room detonated. Reporters shouted. Phones buzzed with breaking alerts. Victoria's face, broadcast from her war room, twisted in fury, leaked feed, courtesy of Mia. Derek bolted from the shot, pale as milk. Marcus issued a statement hours later. Slanderous fiction. Will sue into oblivion. But the tide turned. Justice for Hayes trended, senators tweeting support, the FTC announcing a formal inquiry. Retaliation ramped vicious. My shadow team scattered. Mia went dark after a carjacking scare, Jax dodging tails in Alphabet City. Derek surfaced via anonymous email. Stop, or your friends pay. Attached, photos of Mia's safe house, Time-stamped last night. My blood boiled. Time for the antagonist's downfall. Victoria Langford, architect of it all, her scheming a web spun from Yale boardrooms to K Street. I'd traced her rise, rags to riches via ruthless mergers, non-competes her sword. But cracks showed, whispers of embezzlement, a slush fund for quietings. Infiltration next. Posing as a caterer, wigs and accents my new superpowers. I breached Apex's C-suite retreat in the Hamptons, a sprawling estate where execs plotted over lobster and lies. Weekend warriors in polos and pearls, oblivious to the Trojan in their midst. I spiked the AV system with Mia's backdoor, planting bugs in the library where deals died. Eavesdropping from the kitchen, I caught gold. Victoria to Marcus, voice silk over scotch. Hayes is a gnat. Crush her quiet, same as the mother. Confirmation. And the twist seed. Derek's dispensable now. Loose lips. Heart racing, I exfiltrated at dawn, fog cloaking my rental bike. Back in Jersey, dumps to Jack's. Audio clips, blurred for deniability. His article dropped Monday. Apex's dark underbelly. Murder, not just mergers. Stocks tanked 15%, boardroom bloodbath. Victoria called an emergency meeting, tapped, naturally. Find the leak. And Hayes, end it. The hunter became hunted. That night, Jersey Turnpike, headlights in my rear view. Black SUV, no plates, ramming close. I swerved, tires screaming, Rita's old Glock on the passenger seat. Controversial? Hell yes. Road rage, shootout screamed felon. But survival trumped law. I floored it to a rest stop, dialing 911 mid-spin. Assailant, black SUV, attempted hit. Cops arrived, sirens blazing, pinning the driver. A Apex contractor, prints matching the brick. Jackpot. Interrogation footage leaked, Jax's doing, Victoria's empire quaking. Protests swelled. Occupy Apex camps in Zuccotti Park Redux. Devs chanting, free the code. I rode the wave, testifying to Congress remotely. Non-competes as antitrust cancer. Senators nodded, bills drafted. But the personal toll mounted. Sleep fractured by nightmares. Mom's laugh echoing the gunshot. Derek? Radio silent. But sightings placed him in a panic room, lawyered to the hilt. Climax crested in federal court, Southern District, Foley Square, a coliseum of justice where my first death was sealed. No handcuffs this time. I walked in as plaintiff, Rita at my side, Jax in the gallery scribbling. The case, RICO against Apex, racketeering via non-competes as extortion. Defendants, Victoria, Marcus, Derek as co-conspirator. The room hummed tension, air thick as a summer storm. Victoria took the stand first, composed in Chanel, denying all. Ms. Hayes is delusional. A scorned woman spinning tales. Delusional. The word ignited me. My turn. Under oath, voice steady, I recounted the rebirth. Not literally, that'd land me in psych, but the near-death clarity from the shooting. I saw the strings. The forgery, the frame, the hit. Exhibits rolled. Emails, audio, the glitch code pristine. Derek cracked under cross. Rita's scalpel questions peeling his charm. It was business, he whimpered. Victoria said it'd be clean. Clean. Like mom's brakes. Gasps as the coroner's affidavit dropped. Tampered evidence. Apex fingerprints via shell company. Victoria's facade splintered. Her redirect a screech. Lies. All lies. Judge Harlan Graves, a grizzled vet with a rep for antitrust gut punches, banged his gavel. Order. Ms. Langford, compose yourself or face contempt. The trial dragged weeks, a pressure cooker of depositions and motions. Controversy peaked when I invoked the ghost. This isn't about one woman. It's every founder chained, every voice silenced. Op-eds hailed me hero, detractors, homewrecker, rumors of my affair with Jax, pure fiction. But evidence mounted, a dam breaking. Then, the schemers slip. Marcus, drunk at a bar, mouthing off to an undercover fed. Vic's got bodies. Literal. Raids followed. Servers seized, slush fund exposed. Derek flipped states, testifying in a wire. Victoria's orders, cold and clear, handle Hayes. Permanently. The courtroom froze as playback rolled, her voice damning. Closing arguments, Rita thundered. Justice isn't a clause, it's a right. Victoria's team whimpered technicalities. I sat stone-faced, the bullets echo fading. The jury deliberated 2 days, an eternity of pacing Rita's office, chain-smoking her camels till the room reeked like a dive bar confessional. Outside, paparazzi swarmed like locusts, their lenses probing for cracks in my armor. "Ms. Hayes, any regrets?" one shouted through the blinds. Regrets? Only that I hadn't pulled the trigger sooner. But this wasn't vigilante wet work. It was American justice, slow-roasted and served with a side of schadenfreude. Mia checked in via Signal, her voice steadier, codes forked 1,000 times. "Open source revolution, baby." Jax texted memes. Victoria's mugshot photoshopped as the Wicked Witch. Laughter bubbled, rare and real, a balm on the scar tissue. Verdict dropped at 3 p.m. sharp, the courtroom packed tighter than a rush-hour F train. Judge Graves entered, robes swirling like a cape, his face unreadable granite. In the matter of Hayes versus Apex Technologies, the words hung, my pulse a war drum. Guilty. On all counts. Racketeering, conspiracy, wrongful death. Victoria's empire crumbled. Fines in the billions. Her empire dissected by regulators. Marcus disbarred. Derek facing 20 to life for accessory. The non-compete? Struck down in a footnote. Graves penning the magic words. Void ab initio. Void from the beginning. 2 words that rewrote my fate, erasing chains before they snapped. The gavel fell, and the room exhaled. Cheers erupted from the gallery, my ragtag army of devs and dreamers. Victoria lunged, restrained by bailiffs. Her screech, "This isn't over," a hollow echo. It was over for her, anyway. I stood, knees wobbling, Rita crushing me in a bear hug. "You did it, kid. For your ma. For you." Outside, chaos. Mike's thrust, questions barraging. "What now, Charlotte?" I paused on the steps, sun breaking through clouds like a Hollywood cue. "Now?" I built. Without fear. No details, keep him guessing. But inside, the plan crystallized. Hayes Innovations reborn, AI for the underserved, nonprofit core. No more gatekeepers. The twist uncoiled that night. Over victory takeout. Lo mein and dumplings in Rita's kitchen. A knock rattled the door, hesitant. Derek, unshackled on bail, eyes hollowed by betrayal's mirror. "Charlie." I turned it all over. "Plea deal. Can we talk? Forgive?" The old me might have softened, clinging to ghosts. This Charlotte? I slammed the door, bolt sliding home. Rot. No biopic redemption for him. But the real twist? In sifting Apex's seized files, FOIA magic via Jax, I found the impossible. My death wasn't random. The van hit. Orchestrated, driver on payroll, bullet tipped with my blood type for framing. And the rebirth? No divine intervention. A glitch in the matrix of my own making. That buried algorithm code. It had spawned a subroutine, a digital echo uploaded to the cloud during a sync. When the feds raided, it triggered, hijacking my neural implant. Experimental beta for coders, forgotten in grief. A full mind dump, rebirthing me via VR sim into the past sim. Fiction? Maybe. But the scar on my temple itched, proof of ports long since healed. Schrodinger's revenge, real or rendered, it didn't matter. I'd lived it twice, one at once. Months later, Brooklyn bloomed anew. My startup thrived in a loft in Dumbo, views of the bridge spanning possibilities. Mia headed engineering, Jack's PR, Rita on retainer. No non-competes, ever. Just equity shares and trust, fragile as new code. Victoria? Doing time in white-collar hell, penning a memoir no one would touch. Derek? Vanished to witness protection, whispers of a tell-all squashed by his deal. Me? Testifying on Capitol Hill, the face of reform. Bills passed, chains broken nationwide. Yet, in quiet nights, staring at the skyline, doubt whispered, was the bullet real? The rebirth a mercy or madness? Mom's photo on the mantel smiled, answer enough. I died unjustly, but risen just. Controversy? Let him debate. Tension? Faded to triumph. The American dream, clawed back one controversial line at a time. And those 2 words from Judge Graves? They weren't just legal jujitsu. They were resurrection. Void ab initio. As if the betrayal never was. But it had been, and I'd made damn sure they all paid for it. Fade to credits, but life's no script. Just another pitch, another dawn. And this time, I wrote the ending.